get this man some help. Welcome back to another episode of Flicks and Kicks with your man Hunter, Corey, and Dylan. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to my man Corey. Let these people know what we're talking about and let this conversation get down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this episode, in honor of NCAA finally coming back as a video game.
No, that's a fact.
We decided we're going to get into our own personal list, each of our most electric college football players,
And this is the one. I mean, when you think of some of the most electric people to ever play,
it's a long list. That's why we just doing it from people mainly that we've seen. Our generation.
No, facts.
Our generation's Vic and Bo Jackson in our eyes.
Exactly. You got some scary cats around here, so
on both sides of the ball.
Exactly. That's the fun part of it all.
Exactly.
So we're gonna go ahead and kick down on this list.
Yes, sir. Let's dive into it. Let's not waste no more time.
Exactly. I'm gonna go ahead and start mine off. Right. This one's gonna be kind of one that hurts me personally. But
I can't wait to hear this one as an Auburn alumni.
Yeah, shut up. All right. Anyways, you gave it away. But the one that I must say, who was unstoppable in college.
He was.
Go ahead and say it. It was definitely tough as, a Bama fan, but
and he was only there for 1 year too.
And he dominated.
Heisman, Natty,
Mr. The Cam Newton.
Superman himself.
Yes,
sir.
Bro, when I say this man in college was so much fun to watch, you could, as a Bama fan, it was hard for me to root for him, but he was so much fun to watch.
That was a fun Iron Bowl, wasn't it? No, that was low. Continue.
You know what, Corey?
Continue.
See, I got something for you though.
I'm not used to having a quarterback advantage.
Hey Corey, so, I got one for you one later though. Okay. So you got me now, but
I did get you.
No, trust me, I got one later for you.
I'm waiting for that.
He's coming. He's coming.
I can't wait to.
But anyways, Cam, that dude. When I say, literally, no one could tackle him. No one could stop him from the run, the deep ball. I mean, that dude was
true dual threat.
He really was at that time. There was nothing you could do.
What made him rare? Most dual threats are like skinny and jitterbuggy. Cam would run over people and pass people.
And you forgot too, he had the bunnies to jump over people.
He sure did.
I mean,
near 40-inch vert.
Exactly. I mean, that dude was so much fun, bro. Even when it was against my awful experience, it was a interesting, because I think even we were keeping it a decent game until he just kind of
took over.
Yeah,
Superman did Superman things. Y'all ran out of kryptonite. Because I remember that first half, I think y'all were up like 6-20 at that game. Then Cam, he took over the second half. They either won 21-20 or it was 28-20. That was probably one of the least talented teams to win a championship in the past. Probably what? 10,
so you're just stinging this even more.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying it to emphasize that that's the impact Cam had, bro.
Because this, there's no person from a rival school that I will ever admit to. But Atlanta native, is. He's from the A, so I gotta respect.
I mean, with Dylan being a Falcons fan, he knows how many years Cam used to terrorize the Falcons twice a year. I mean, as a Saints fan, he did the same thing, so I can't really talk shit.
Exactly. I was just about to say. But anyways, I'll let y'all go ahead and get on to your next one.
Since he was digging into you, I got something that'll dig into him.
What's your next pick? We'll let you go first.
Tim Tebow.
Oh, that's fucking. I'm a Georgia fan, and he said Tim Tebow. He really said. He said Tim Tebow, and I'm a Georgia. That's fucked up. You know, they used to piss on Georgia players when they would pee. Did y'all know that? And he said Tim Tebow.
Now, let's be real, though. Let's be real.
Not Tim.
Do y'all remember in recess Or like whenever we played football, anyone that scored, dude, Tebow, every kid was fucking doing it. Every
Yeah.
kid.
I do it.
I think that's
I did
a
it
personal
once.
thing.
I did
Yeah,
it
there's
Tim Tebow was that guy until he went to the NFL. But we're not worried about the NFL. We're worried
Exactly.
about college.
Yeah, and I
Tim
don't know
Tebow
what
was
to
a
tell
problem.
you personally. I don't know what to tell you because I bet you were seeing a lot of.
Shout out to Mark Ripp for being our coach when Tim Tebow used to terrorize us every
Hey,
year. For
Urban
Rock.
Meyer.
Good memories, aren't they? Yes,
Definitely. As a
sir.
Georgia fan, that was a great time. That was definitely a great time. Watching Florida beat the shit out of us every year and then go on to win natties. That was fun.
Oh my
At least we helped Tim
god.
Tebow's Heisman campaign. So, we played a role in that. We were always the big time winning guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow, he was a good quarterback. Not just good. Objectively, he was one of the most electric quarterbacks of the past.
Not to mention he
20
was also
years.
left-handed.
He had an ugly ass throwing motion. That throwing motion was butt ugly, but he got it there. He got it to his receivers. He was another dual threat. He wasn't quite as athletic as Cam or as electric, but it seemed anytime he ran, people couldn't catch him. You know. Plus, they had Percy Harvin, who easily could have been on any one of our lists. Percy Harvin at Florida was.
I also had that tight end Hernandez.
Oh.
Yeah.
He was a killer.
Don't do that.
I'm just saying. He was a killer.
Yeah.
Whew.
On the field.
Yeah, on the field.
And off.
According to the court system, off the field too.
I mean, hey, things happen. Things happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
things
Yeah,
happen.
Unfortunately. But anyways,
yeah.
Corey, go on and say your first most electric college player.
Both of y'all said quarterback, so I'm gonna go on the other side of the ball. I'm gonna do a defensive player.
All right.
You may not like this as a Bama fan. Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu.
The same guy
At
that we
LSU.
torched that one game.
In the national championship, but you're forgetting the game of the century. LSU won that year 9-6, and Honey Badger was a big reason they won that game. Was he not? Honey Badger was one of the most, at least that I've watched, one of the most electric defensive players, bro. He not only got picks and locked down your slot receivers, dude will return punts for touchdowns. When we talk about LSU being DBU, Tyrann Mathieu, of course, there's Patrick Peterson too, if we're being real. But Tyrann Mathieu was really the one that put LSU's DBs on the map. I mean, he did everything. Dude didn't miss tackles. He would hit the shit out of you. He would catch picks. He would return punts. Sometimes he played offense. I mean, what defensive player was doing all that at the time? Now we got Travis Hunter, who plays literally both sides. But before that, who was doing that? You got any other examples?
I mean, to be honest, it's LSU, so I don't really care. But
Yeah, I'm about to say, you don't look moved, but you're telling me, take off your Bama glasses. Objectively, you're telling me Tyrann Mathieu wasn't one of the most electric defensive players we've seen.
I mean, he was one of them. Definitely one.
Yes, Honey Badger.
But
problem. And he was only a 3-star too coming in. He was what, 5'9", 5'10" at most. So to be an undersized nickel and be the most athletic person on the field basically every time he stepped on it for 3 years until he got kicked off the team for weed. But we're not gonna go off that. Judging by just his first 2 years, because we didn't really get a junior year at Tyrann since by then he was kicked off the team. But those first 2 years, he was electric. Like, personally, I think that he was a top 5. I don't even know whether to call him a safety or a corner because he played both at LSU. So I'm gonna just
that's
say,
a fair point.
yeah. So I'm gonna just
he
say,
did play.
yeah.
But I mean, in college, you do play a lot if
A
you're on
lot of
defense.
nickel.
Like,
Yeah,
especially
you
if
play-
you're safety.
Exact safety, they play a lot of either field, strong, or nickel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
So
I mean,
I'm
it
a-
kind of just depends.
yeah. So I'll just say he was one of the best DBs of the
Definitely.
2000s. You can argue ever, but that would be a whole can of worms because there was
that's,
Sean Taylor, Ed Reed with Miami, so that would be a whole other list. So
yeah.
that's why I'm saying just the 2010s, he would be in anyone's top 3 overall defense players.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Can't, deny it too much, but, like I said, it's LSU,
Electric.
so,
We got to say
Years
the
later.
years too for our viewers. He was there. Was it from 2009 to 11? Right.
I don't know. It's been
Yeah,
a while.
because we got to say the years.
Damn, he old as shit.
Yeah, Honey Badger a vet now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and your Saints, right?
He played good ball for us, but we're focusing on his college years.
I'll look that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, can someone look that up? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 29.
Oh, I'm not
21.
talking about your years. I'm talking about his stats for the Saints last year.
Oh, bad. Oh, someone needs to pull up the stats. We need to give the people the stats behind these players we're picking. Honey, can you pull up the stats?
Yeah, I got you. I guess.
Bet. We gotta get
I
him
mean,
that.
him on my phone is just.
I know that's painful,
awful.
but we gotta let the viewers know what impact he left at LSU.
Let's see here.
Since he's a defensive player, you can just do tackles and interceptions. Because I'm pretty sure finding pass breakups is gonna be pretty hard to find.
So let's see. So tackles. All together in those 2 years. Let's see. Wow, that's a lot of tackles.
How many
Not gonna
tackles?
lie, it's for 2 years, 133.
At safety,
Um,
damn. How many picks?
let's see here.
And the years were 29 and 2010, right?
10 and
10, 11. Okay,
Yeah.
bad, 10, 11.
And it was only 4.
4.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's us.
4 picks?
Yeah.
Really? Total? With how much of a playmaker he was, I would have thought he would have 4 a year. Damn,
They
that's
said
crazy.
he had 2 for each year.
Mm.
Yeah, so 2 as a freshman.
Because
2 as
it
a
always
sophomore.
felt like he was around the football.
I mean, that's always how he's been, though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Let's
he's
be
playing. That's why they
honest.
call him Honey Badger. He's always around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hey, like I said, it's fair enough. I could really.
One of the most dominant DBs of 2010s, easy. One of the best overall LSU DBs ever. He's the reason I got excited about DB play.
I guess.
Different.
I guess. I mean, hey, like I said, it is what it
Badger
is.
was
He
different,
was
bro.
nice. He was nice.
nice.
He was nice.
He was.
He was nice.
He was nice.
But I'm gonna go ahead and throw my next one.
Mm-hmm. And put stats behind that with your next
I
pick.
got you. I got you.
Just-
Yeah. Bless you, my dog.
Bless you, my guy.
Now, as I, went to, obviously, Auburn as my first one, which was god-awful.
War Eagle.
I still don't understand that. But anyways, when you're a Tiger. But anyways, we're going to go Roll Tide around here. Gonna go Roll Tide. And this is one of...
Who's he about to pick?
and
I think
you-
I know who it is. Is it a running back?
Nah.
Okay, then I don't know. Wait, is it a wide receiver?
It's one. He's later, though.
Who?
Is he more recent?
I can't say too much.
I know exactly who
I
it
bet.
is.
Who you gonna pick, man? Because
But this one right here, as you were saying about, your man, the Honey Badger,
Mhm.
electric.
that's you.
One of the best DBs.
Easily.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw one that has done it both ways, not only in college and in NFL, like the Honey Badger.
Mm-hmm.
Mika Fitzpatrick. That
Oh,
brother
man.
was nasty.
Yeah, he was a good player.
I mean, this dude, when I say he was around that football almost every single play, and he was a heavy hitter.
One of the few DBs that started as a true freshman.
Exactly. And I mean, bro,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and break this down
That's a good point.
from
Yeah, what's
2015
his numbers?
to 2017, right?
Yeah, because he was there 3 years.
Yes, sir. And started as a freshman.
Yeah.
So his first year,
Impressive.
right?
Mhm.
2 interceptions, which is kind of nice,
True
kind of
freshman,
nice,
yeah, that's not bad.
and 45 tackles, right? That's nice.
That's pretty good.
That sophomore year went crazy. 6 interceptions.
Was that the 2016 year?
Yes, sir.
That pains me to say. That was one of the most dominant Bama defenses ever, bro.
Yes,
That's
sir.
when you had Marlon Humphrey, you had Mika, you had Jonathan Allen and Darren Payne.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that team. Ruben Foster.
Yep.
And
And Foster was a heavy hitter in the middle of the field.
Shit.
I mean, bro, when I
I
say
remember
it
the hit
was,
he made to Deshaun Watson in that natty.
yeah, that dude did a helicopter.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. That defense was.
I mean,
I remember y'all had
woo.
like a record for most defensive touchdowns in the season.
Yep.
That was crazy. Yeah.
Yep. That dude was so special, bro. That he stayed another year and didn't even produce the way he did, and he still was a high draft pick.
He sure was. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
What was his junior stats?
His junior stat
Mhm.
was 1 interception and 60 tackles.
That's because people stopped doing that this year.
Exactly. Once you start to see how good of he is, I mean, even in the NFL, you cannot throw on his side of the field.
I've only seen one receiver in college get the bet, Hunter Renfro, the jittery slot for Clemson. That was the
Yeah.
only person he probably had issues with. But that
But
was like
that
a
was
battle.
yeah, that was
That was
because
like
I mean, let's be honest, you had a safety in his early
Cut,
years
yeah.
covering a slot guy who was a
Route runner.
masterless
Route,
in
yeah.
Clemson. I mean, that dude was, and you have to put in, Watson was his
Yeah, I'm about to
quarterback.
say Watson made some dimes.
So it's like you have to respect the talent that both sides had. I mean,
Absolutely. Yeah.
both teams were that was just nasty. It was nasty, but
Stacked.
Michael Fitzpatrick
Mika
was just
was-
nice, bro. He was so nice.
Mika was crazy. I ain't gonna lie. He terrorized Auburn for 3 years during that stretch.
Yeah, and you think that's the only guy that's coming up?
What else you got? Man, he got some devious shit in mind right now. Yeah, Mika, he was kind of like a bigger Honey Badger. He was what 6'1", 6'2"?
No, you did not just compare him to Honey Badger.
Are you saying it wasn't close between the two? Like, I'm just saying, skill wise, he was always around the ball. He was a.
Their gameplay was different.
It was
in a
different
way.
because I think Honey Badger, he was. I won't say way better tackling in open field because Mika, he didn't really miss tackles either. But Honey Badger's whole thing was being in that box.
Yeah, he
Mika
was
a
more
little
in the.
more. He played a little more free.
Yeah, he's always been a free safety.
Yeah,
basically.
that's
I mean,
what I mean. Yeah,
he's one of those guys where he's testing
like he's
those
all
deep
pro
balls.
free safety. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not going to get past him,
Yeah.
and don't sleep on him tackling too. He does not
that's
care
what I'm
who
saying.
it is.
He's
He's coming
big for a
downhill.
safety, 6'2", 210-ish, runs a 4.4, rangy. Yeah, Mika was nasty.
Yes, sir.
You
And
had,
I had to go ahead and say that one.
I'm pretty sure you had. I can't remember what the Bears. Rodney Harrison was there at the same time, right?
I think so.
You had another safety with him, that Eddie Jackson.
Yeah.
Eddie. Yeah,
Yeah, I was about to say it was.
Harrison was there.
Ha-ha,
some
but
different-
that was-
Ha-ha
I think that
Clint.
was-
I think that was he might have been there when Mika was a true freshman.
Yeah, I think it was his
Yeah.
freshman year
Yeah,
because Haha was leaving pretty.
y'all had a lot of safeties.
Yeah,
Lennon
hey, we got a
Collins,
new
too.
era started now. The whole Saban era is gone,
Yeah.
so we got this new era. Hey,
Gotta see how that turns out, but
hey,
in terms of
for our fans, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's roll tide.
That's gross.
Roll
as
tide.
gross as
Okay.
that was to hear, Mika was arguably the best DB in the Nick Saban era. He was dominant. I mean,
I actually
It's
would agree
close.
with that because I mean,
there's
you
was
have a
Patrick
top three.
Surtain
Yeah.
at corner. Mika, Humphrey was better in the NFL than he was at Bama. Though he was solid at Bama, but
Yeah,
he
I
was-
could understand that.
yeah,
one.
Mika was dominant from day one.
He really was. I mean, dude knew exactly the feel of the game. Really,
He did.
he was one of those guys where I felt like he watched the film and
Yeah.
understood exactly what you wanted to do.
Exactly, just never out of position.
Exactly.
Never.
But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on to my man Dylan
Yeah, do you
for your next one because I'm
What's your name?
curious
Man,
for
you
this.
looking at me like you about to pick something crazy. Oh my god.
It's not crazy. My list. I only have 3 players on my list. And they're all
Okay.
quarterbacks.
Okay.
The next one on my list, I'm gonna have to go with Baker Mayfield. 2017 Baker Mayfield.
That's actually a good pick.
Yeah, that's actually pretty nice. That dude was.
Baker was crazy.
He had
That
the emotion
Kansas
with
game?
it. Oh man.
Grabbed his balls. Yeah.
So when he was at Oklahoma in 2017,
Oh yeah. What was
He-
the numbers for that year?
he had an average, or not average, his completion percentage was 70.5. Threw for almost 5,000 yards.
I still remember that shootout. He had
Averaged 330 yards a game.
Dang.
Had 43 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. His longest pass was 84 yards.
Damn.
Dude is nice.
Yeah, he was different.
So 2017 Baker Mayfield is my pick.
And
Yeah, he was
we can't
definitely
forget
nice.
he had some classic duels. Remember with Pat Mahomes, they combined for like over 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
That game was like 66-59.
Something like that. Something
That,
crazy.
that was that was back when the Big 12 was just straight up shootouts every
Good
week.
times.
That was good times. That was college football.
Did you say the
as
Big
fun.
12?
Yeah, because he was in the Big 12. Yeah, Big 12. Oklahoma. Well, now they're going to the SEC, but at the time, yeah, he was in the Big 12.
Hunter, are you getting this too?
Big 12. Yeah.
Am I just dumb?
Yeah. Are you confusing it for the Big 10? The Big 10 is Ohio State and Michigan, and the Big 12 is Oklahoma, Texas, Tech. That was the Big 12.
Are you thinking of the Pac-12?
No, the Big 12. Remember with Lincoln Riley, the Oklahoma State coach, that's an offensive coach. That was when it was just straight shootouts. There was no defense from like 2010 to like 18 in the Big 12. Remember that?
All I know is Baker was fun to watch.
Oh no, he
That
was
boy
fun to
was-
watch.
When he planted the flag?
Yeah, that shit
Oh,
was funny, bro.
I remember as a
The
Georgia
reason
fan,
he was electric because he was funny as fuck.
as a
bro.
Georgia fan, that Rose Bowl, man, I lost sleep that game. Baker Mayfield was wearing us out, bro. We escaped that game. Baker was throwing dots for 4 quarters.
Yeah, how did that feel?
Felt good to win. Watching it, hated it. But I mean, I hated it. I was stressed as fuck. We just couldn't stop him. Slow him down a little in the second half, but you know. Him and Lincoln Riley, they were just a deadly coach quarterback duo.
Yeah.
And then you had Hollywood Brown. He was throwing to CeeDee Lamb, a freshman CeeDee Lamb. Like,
Which was a problem.
right.
He was a problem.
Baker was different. But since Dylan picked a quarterback, I'm gonna go with another quarterback.
Okay.
I think everyone knows this one. Johnny Football. Johnny Manziel. The money, see the money signs. That was one of the most like electric quarterbacks in college football history.
Not the NFL.
NFL, that's a whole different story. That's, but we talking college. Let me just pull up his numbers real quick. I mean, first of all, I think Lamar Jackson broke it, but I'm pretty sure he was the youngest person to ever win a Heisman. He won a Heisman as a redshirt freshman. He was the first person to do that.
You typed in Jimmy.
Oh, I did type in
That's
Jimmy. You're
tough.
right. You're right. I was wondering why is it not?
tough.
Let me just show you his numbers, bro.
I mean, to
His
be
numbers.
honest,
Before we get into what he was as a player, we got to get into the numbers behind him.
Didn't he get in trouble for taking deals under the table or
He
something?
did, but that's a whole other story. But he started from 2012 to 2013. His Heisman year, he threw for 68% completion percentage, nearly 4,000 yards, passed for 26 touchdowns, only 9 picks, 155 quarterback rating, rushed for 1,400 yards and 21 touchdowns. So he had over 5,000 yards of total offense. Then his very next year, he passed for over 4,000 yards, nearly 40 touchdowns, 173 passer rating, and rushed for 759 yards and 9 TDs. So statistic-wise, he was just nasty. But his statistics and his numbers weren't the reason Johnny Football was Johnny Football. It was the crazy shit he would do on the field. The
and
run
some
on.
of the luck that
I mean, some of it.
came with
Remember, he played with Mike Evans, so a lot of the times he would just throw it up. Mike Evans would make nasty catches, but he made some of the most Houdini fucking. How the fuck did you complete that shit? Throws weekly that I've seen from a college quarterback. He would just run around, throw it up, and he would make plays. It was entertaining. His personality. We talk about Baker and his personality. Johnny Manziel was even more wild than Baker. Dude would make money signs at the opposing sidelines. He would get into it with opposing players. We all know, if you ever seen a documentary, dude would go out and party and get drunk the night before games. Apparently, there wasn't really a playbook with Johnny. He would just ad-lib. He was probably the least hardworking quarterback on this list, and he still did the shit he did every Saturday. I know as a Bama fan, put your Bama aside because a lot of his exciting plays came against Bama. So I know that hits a nerve. But he gave Nick Saban fits. He was the first.
Off of pixie dust.
He did, bro.
Pixie dust, pixie dust, pixie dust. But it's fine. It's fine. I'm not gonna let my emotions get to
I
me.
was about to tell you, he was probably the one quarterback before Deshaun Watson came that consistently gave Nick Saban fits, bro.
Because he would just throw the ball up.
It was
Let's be honest.
it
He was
was
the only quarterback
successful.
that would win off script.
Man, some of
and
his
did
off-script plays were crazy, bro.
It's fine. It's totally fine.
Like, you remember the play where you had a DN, it was a Bama DN, grab him by the shoulder patch. He escaped that shit. Torpedo through a sidearm jump ball. It wasn't to Mike Evans, but it was another to an A&M receiver with two Bama DBs around him. Still
I think that
completed.
was on like 3rd and long.
Yeah, it was. Like, he was the most. Like, you were. Did you not feel like you were always on the edge of your seat watching Johnny Manziel? Like, he was just absolutely exciting.
He annoyed me.
Nobody gave a shit about Texas A&M before Johnny Manziel. Absolutely nobody. Johnny Manziel put Texas A&M on the map.
He really annoyed me. He was one
annoying
of
to play
just
against.
how honestly Tebow just annoyed the fuck out of you. That's how I
And
felt with
did.
him. Johnny just would piss me the fuck off because it was never like all right, I'm gonna just let my little vent happen.
Go ahead.
See, you know, when people like Deshaun Watson cooked us, fine.
Skill.
It
He
was
did from
it
the
was
pocket,
it was
executed
literally like
plays.
scripted. You could not be
A couple
mad.
times he would go off script, but it wasn't like Johnny. Johnny
Exactly.
would do crazy
Trevor, okay,
shit.
you know,
Executed.
it was fine.
Mhm.
This dude, I've seen so many times of Johnny. We would have this man
Dead to
somehow.
rights.
He would just get away, backpedal, and throw
slippery.
up a fucking prayer,
He was
and
slippery.
it would just caught.
He was slippery as hell, bro. And he did this probably not sober. That's the crazy thing.
But it's fine. It's fine because you know his NFL career showed what we all.
I mean, yeah, the way he played, that was completely built for college football. I wasn't sustainable at the next level.
Yeah.
No.
Because that,
No.
not fun.
'Cause
Not
like-
fun to watch.
No. Not as an opposing fan, or you're a fan base of an A&M rival, since you are in the SEC West and A&M, Bama, they're in the same division, that must be frustrating as shit to play against. But as a neutral, just watching Manziel, it was a roller coaster. Like, what did you think of Manziel?
I wasn't in the conference, so I didn't have to deal with it.
Yeah,
It was
you
a
were
great
all the
time
way
to
in.
watch.
That's what I'm saying. As someone, as fan bases who didn't have to deal with Manziel, that was fun as fuck to watch. That really was, bro. It was
Any
just-
day's a good day to see Georgia lose, though. I will say that. It doesn't matter who they're playing. It doesn't matter who it is.
We'll get to that later. But at the end of the day, there were definitely quarterbacks all time that were better than Johnny Manziel. But in terms of the most exciting, he was arguably the most exciting quarterback ever in college.
Which is fair. I'll give you that.
Electric.
I'll give you that. But you know, I got someone that could piggyback right off of that. That is
Okay. Who you got?
awesome.
Who you got?
Special.
Who you got?
I know this one's gonna hit you. It's gonna hit a nerve with you.
Who you got?
This man spent 4 years in college.
Mm-hmm.
His last year finally had a chance to showcase what he could do.
Mm-hmm.
And what he did was special,
Mm-hmm.
especially to Georgia.
Who you talking about?
My man, Devontae Smith.
I fucking knew it.
He was good.
How much did he put on Georgia in the first half? I just want to ask you because I mean, you know that's a stinger, you know, because that was his Heisman year. I just wanted to let you know.
We actually held him to one of his lowest yards. He still had like 150 yards against us. But we actually held him to one of his lowest yardage outputs, which kind of how ridiculous he was. But, you know, we tried. I promise we tried. You know, it was a slippery. I mean, my guy Tyson Campbell started for the Jaguars, now at corner doing his thing. Just couldn't. He didn't need to bring.
Yeah,
it up,
you know,
he was
special.
He was a dog at Bama. I'll give him that.
I mean, you know, when you have a loaded wide receiver cast
Yep.
and you finally get your chance to be the wide receiver one, that dude showed out.
What's crazy, he could have left after his junior year. He had like 1,300 yards as a junior. What was his senior stats? Just for the audience at home, bro.
So for his senior year, this man had 23 touchdowns and 1,856 yards.
That's crazy.
This dude averaged almost 16 yards.
I still remember the Natty against Ohio State. He had like 200 yards at halftime.
Yes. I mean, this dude was literally unstoppable.
He was.
And the thing is about him is it wasn't he had a built size like
He
DK
was
had
skinny as
in
fuck.
Ohio,
He was-
Ole Miss. This dude was literally just small and knew how to run routes. Beautiful.
One of the best route runners we've ever seen in college football.
Exactly. Like,
Yeah.
when you have on one side Jerry Jeudy, who is one of the quickest on the team,
Mhm.
and then
Henry
Devontae
Ruggs
Smith.
was a burner.
Exactly. I mean, that team was nasty. And then when he finally had his chance
Mhm.
to showcase not only he's a good route runner, his speed and quickness,
Mhm.
and his catch radius,
Mhm.
woo!
Devontae was special. I'll say that.
That man was.
He gave Auburn to work his Heisman year. That was, yeah. I think he had like 2 touchdowns, 150 yards, which again, one of his lower outputs. So I guess that's a win. But we lost by like 40 that game. Probably be generous. It was probably more like 50 his Heisman year. But you know, Devontae, no one could fuck with Devontae Smith his Heisman year, bro. He was just, even Derek Stingley, one of the best corners in college football,
Could not touch
gave
him.
him 200 yards at halftime. Like, Devontae was crazy.
Dude, literally, when he had his chance to be that guy.
Took it and ran with it.
Exactly.
Went out to be a top 10 pick, doing his thing with Philly.
Still killing it.
Yep.
It's on from there, bro. It's on from there.
Just another great Bama receiver, you know?
I mean, I could go on about that list,
It's a
Forever.
long list.
you know, but he is one of my favorites, my personal favorites. You know, I mean, as an undersized wide receiver, you know,
Yeah.
he was exactly what I was trying to do, you know, as
Mhm.
far as trying to get the timing right.
Wasn't he the first receiver to ever win a Heisman? Or I think
No,
since
no.
Desmond Howard, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
him and Desmond Howard, I think those are the only 2 receivers to win a Heisman. Which is crazy. That just shows you how dominant he was.
I mean, just look at the stats each game. Like I said, the dude almost put up 2,000 yards
He was-
his senior year. I mean,
He was unguardable, bro. I still remember going to that Georgia game. I said, "Oh, we got the corners. We got to lock him up." Then he was just going to work. I remember he made one ridiculous catch over Eric Stokes. It's like,
yeah, before halftime. That was the one before halftime.
Yeah.
I remember that because
Yeah.
this dude is at the corner of the end zone. One-handed
Stokes
catch.
tried-
Oh,
couldn't do
oh, nasty.
couldn't do nothing with him. Couldn't do anything.
You know, it's okay, though.
You get too physical, he would whoop your ass off the line. You don't put hands on him, he's
Burns
running
you.
by you. Like,
And
he was a handful to deal with, bro.
if you tried to follow him,
Mhm.
his route running would take
It's
you
too
away.
hard, bro. Steve Sarkisian too was giving him the freedom. He was putting him in good positions, and he was just dominating.
Yeah, he was literally forcing one-on-ones
Mhm.
with everyone.
Mhm.
And even when you did double him, somehow
That's what I
he
noticed.
made it.
I always scream at TV, why can no one double? You couldn't double him. It's because of how they moved him around, and yeah, he was just unstoppable, bro. Yes, there's another one to say.
I knew that one's going to hit a nerve. Because, I
Another-
mean, you were talking a lot of hot shit, you know, in that Georgia game. And in
I mean, it was a
halftime-
competitive game until Bennett threw a pick in the third quarter, and that was all he wrote for that game. But
I mean, I warned you before that game that Devontae Smith would go crazy.
that's Waddle did too.
Yeah, he Jesus Christ.
Waddle and Devontae, I mean, come on, man. Who in the same? Yeah, I think both of them had 150 yards. I remember Waddle had like a
Yeah.
90-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
In that game. Yeah, that receiving core was. It was pretty good. It was a good receiving core, you know. Unfortunate trip down memory. I knew Waddle would be different when we won that Iron Bowl. I like to remind you, but I think Waddle was a true sophomore this game. We actually contained Devontae, so he had like 70 yards that game. But against Devontae, that's good. Waddle had like I think 125 yards and 2 touchdowns. He had like 2 deep bomb touchdowns on us that game. So your receiving core was just crazy, just crazy.
Hey, you know.
And that game was a glimpse into the future because that was after the Tua injury happened, and that's when Matt came in.
Yep.
to finish off the year led to his dominant senior year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Roll Tide, baby.
He was good. You
He's
know.
good.
Roll Tide. We love it. We love it, baby. Roll Tide.
War Eagle. Dylan, you want to go next?
Yeah. So, luckily, this quarterback wasn't in the SEC, but he did win a Heisman.
Who was it?
Played in the ACC.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Lamar Jackson. 2018 Lamar Jackson.
Now you got to tell the people his stats, bro. He had video game fucking
He
stats.
did.
I'm not gonna lie,
He
that
did.
was one of my.
Were
Ooh.
crazy. I knew that was on our list because I had that on my list too.
I mean, you and me were like one of the biggest.
Man, I remember
hype
when Lamar
mans,
blew
bro.
up, bro. We would talk about him every day at school. That Florida
Bro,
State game.
But I'm gonna be honest, the way that you and me would be talking on how like they're disrespecting this
We
dude,
were,
bro.
'Cause
Like I can remember, like bro, all three of us would be talking like, bro,
Mhm.
this dude is passing each year.
passing,
And they're
rushing,
saying,
and they're
"Oh,
saying
no,
he
he's
can't
not."
pass. I saw him. Bobby Petrino had a pass-heavy system at Louisville. Lamar threw the ball like 40 fucking times at Louisville. They were trying to say he couldn't pass, bro.
And then they also didn't want to mention his wide receivers dropped the ball. The most
His wide
in the
receivers dropped so many
entire-
fucking passes, bro.
I mean, it was.
I remember that
Oof.
Clemson game when him and Deshaun Watson went back and forth. He threw a dot to his wide receiver, and his wide receiver just stepped out of bounds when he was 2
Yeah.
yards short, and that's how they lost that game his Heisman year. Remember how much hype there was going into that game?
Yeah,
Man, Lamar Jackson's Heisman year, man. Take me back.
that was so much fun
That
because
was,
that dude.
bro.
I mean, electric. That was electric right there.
He was the most electric quarterback of the 2010s in college. Of the 2000s in college.
I mean,
most
for
electric
us,
since Vic.
I was about to say just for
He was our
us.
Michael Vick.
Exactly, because that dude.
Crazy.
I mean, you couldn't tackle him.
He had a hell of an arm. It was a flick. He
No,
threw
literally,
a
that dude
flick.
literally just. And it was insane.
Lasers.
It was
All
literally
right, I got it right
insane.
Oh, what's the numbers?
here. So you won his junior year.
His Heisman year. We need a Heisman
That's
year.
his junior year, right?
I think his sophomore year was his Heisman year because he was in college for 3 years. He
Was it 2016 or 2017 he won the Heisman?
2016 he won the Heisman.
So in 2016, he had 409 attempts and completed 230 of them. It's a 56.2%.
Yeah, it's not, he actually increased his completion percentage from his Heisman year.
Yeah, he went up each year because they were each time saying that
Yeah.
he was not getting it done passing, so he tried
He
to
threw
prove
more
it.
from the pocket his junior year.
Yeah,
What was the rest of his stats?
He had 3,543 yards,
How many touchdowns?
30 touchdowns, 9 interceptions.
And that was just passing.
That was just passing.
How many his rushing numbers were ridiculous.
I'm trying to find his.
You got to remember, he threw nearly 4,000 passing yards without an elite receiver. I mean, that Louisville team, it was him, and then Jair Alexander was a dog on the defensive side.
Yeah.
People forget Jair Alexander was a monster.
yeah,
in
he was a
Heisman.
menace.
I remember that Clemson game. He was strapping.
So
Mike
rushing.
Williams.
He had 21 touchdowns rushing,
Oh my God! How many yards?
1,571.
Jesus.
So he had over 5,000 total yards and over 50 total touchdowns.
He had more rushing yards than his running backs.
Yeah, he was the entire team. There.
No one
by a
could
lot.
touch him.
Brandon Radcliffe had 903 rushing yards.
And we don't even
Who
remember
the
Brandon
fuck
Radcliffe.
is that
We don't even,
guy?
these is the type of guys
That
Lamar
guy's
was
out there
carrying.
probably selling some cars or
That-
something.
man, that's what I'm saying. Because of Lamar, he probably owes a hell of a dealership. Respectfully, Lamar was different.
Yeah.
I remember I kept telling you, I really hope Louisville plays Alabama, even though Alabama probably would have destroyed Louisville. I just want to see Lamar's speed and his elusiveness and just his dual threatness against Bama's defense. Because
That
no one in the
would've
ACC could touch Lamar.
That
Nope.
shit would have stressed me out.
I remember
tonight.
Clemson had a good
Guts.
defense that year, and he made them look silly. In Clemson.
Yeah.
He outplayed Deshaun Watson that game.
I mean, it was, like I said before, it was because you couldn't tackle him. You literally could not tackle him.
He was the most elusive quarterback arguably we've seen in college football.
Yeah.
He was
That's not in
different.
denial.
Different.
Because, I mean, that shit was nasty, bro.
I still
He showed a
remember.
spin move.
We were on the hype train early. The Syracuse game was when we were like, "Wow, this dude's special." But
Yeah.
some people kept saying he hasn't played anyone real. It was the Florida State game when he put up 63 on Florida State, and they blew them the hell out in Louisville, where everyone joined the hype train.
Yep.
After that, it just took off.
Yep. Yeah, we
was
were
happening.
on that kind of early,
We
bro,
were
because
early
we
with
saw
that.
what he could
Yeah.
do, bro. That was
Louisville, I think the Syracuse game, he had like 400 passing yards and over 100 rushing yards.
Yep.
That's when I was like, okay, this guy's different.
I knew about Lamar Jackson in middle school because I don't know if y'all remember that clip
The
of
high school
him.
video.
The high school video.
Yes, bro.
Yes, bro. When I
Oh
saw that,
my
I was
God,
like,
bro.
yo.
Where he dead stopped at the goal
Yes,
line and just
bro.
walked right on
And he
in.
just did a smooth walk.
Yeah,
That was
he
like-
just literally went.
that was crazy.
That was tough.
I remember exactly that.
I'm gonna see if I can find that clip.
Yeah, bro.
That
That
clip
was
was
tough.
crazy. I mean, he was so elusive.
You couldn't do that, bro.
Couldn't do anything, bro.
I mean, hey, you know that's the Florida in them, bro.
The
Florida football
dude,
players
that's
different.
what- man.
They just different, bro.
He just.
I mean, how you just stop on a dime
Come
and then
on,
just walks
man. He
in?
said, "Man,
Just walks
Hey.
in.
Scouts saw that and said he can't play quarterback." Come on, man.
He's a running back.
It's crazy. I still remember that old ass old GM, was it Bill Polian? And he was saying, remember Bill Polian? He said, "Oh, Lamar, he should practice at receiver at the combine."
Oh
He
yeah, I
can't-
remember because I
yes,
forgot
bro.
who it was. I remember they were saying that. And he was like, bro, just because of that, he wasn't even going to do the 40.
Yeah,
Which
he
kinda
didn't
hurt.
do.
I'm not
We all
gonna
know he
lie.
would have run a 4.3. Easy.
I mean, yeah, that's easy.
He would have broke
If
up.
you would have saw him in college,
He was electric.
that dude ran past everybody. So
Man.
4.3 is easy.
That Florida State defense had Derwin James type athletes in that back end, and he made them look slow. Heisman Lamar was crazy.
Well, you know, I got to go ahead and say, you got another one?
I do got another one. Plenty.
You know, because this list is going to be a little nice.
gotta-
You know, my next one's going to be a
I
little
gotta-
nice, too.
I got to involve a Georgia Bulldog on my list. I haven't said one yet. I'm taking my time. I know that hurts you, Dylan. You can get some fresh air. Have a moment. Take a moment. I'm going with arguably, at least that I've seen at Georgia, because there was Herschel Walker. This was the best running back I've seen at Georgia. Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley. Let me
You
let me
talking
pull
about
up some
Fragile
numbers.
Bones himself?
Don't do that, okay? At Georgia, before the injury, I think he did get hurt one year at Georgia, actually. But that's
Yeah,
even
he
it. Yeah,
Didn't he like?
I think
snap
it was his
ankle or
last
something?
year. Yeah, he did. And ironically, Chubb tore his ACL too while he was at Georgia. But we're not going to talk about that. When he was healthy, let me read. As a true freshman, Hunter, this man had 1,385 rushing yards, 17 touchdowns. He didn't receive much. He only had 117 receiving yards. But he was a dog at Georgia from 2012 to 2014. Dude was a monster. I mean, he was 6 feet, 222 pounds, but he ran a 4.3, 4.4. Dude in the open field, explosive. He was shifty. He really was the one that really jump-started RBU at Georgia. Because after Herschel, we had some solid backs. But when Todd Gurley came in, that's when Nick Chubb came. That's when Sony Michel came. That's when James Cook came in. That's when we really started racking up those RBU backs, and Todd Gurley started that. Him, and everyone talks about Aaron Murray when he was at Georgia, the quarterback we had. He was a pretty good quarterback. But the driving force behind that offense with Mark Richt was Todd Gurley and his versatility. He was he was clearly, I know this is going to hurt you as a Bama fan because he had some dogs at Bama too, but he was the best running back in the SEC during his time at Georgia. Remember that SEC championship? Y'all won that game. You like to throw that in my face. That is what it is. But remember that SEC championship game against Bama? Todd Gurley was getting busy. You can't tell me he wasn't.
The only thing that I will say about Todd Gurley, yes, he was a very good back in Georgia. I mean, that dude was very nice. There's no denying that.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I think of when I think of him at Georgia is kind of like how Najee Harris was. Very elusive, power.
Mm-hmm. He had power but speed.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, Todd hurdled people.
Sure
Harris
did.
hurdled people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the dude was you wouldn't expect that type of versatility from someone with that size.
Exactly.
You know, so
He was 6
I get
feet,
that.
but moved like 6 feet 220, but moved like he was 5'10", 185.
yeah.
That's just
So
rare.
you know, like I said, I get it. I definitely get it. Dude checked every box for
Different.
the NFL. I mean,
Like the shit that Chubb and Michelle, they were a dynamic duo because Michelle was great catching out the backfield and he was just explosive on those outside zones. And then Chubb was just explosive in between the tackles. Gurley had a little of both. That's what made Gurley a freak. So, yeah, Todd Gurley was different.
fair enough.
Different.
Fair enough.
It was
I give you
different.
that. You know,
Special.
it's a good bat.
I mean, what true freshman running back has 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns? In the SEC, nonetheless.
It's a good little bat.
Ask Georgia Tech how good Todd Gurley was.
Damn, you ain't gotta do him like
I
that,
had to
bro.
do that. I
Why
had to
you
get
do that?
Dylan in this. Dylan knows a lot about Todd Gurley. So did them Yellow Jackets.
Anyways,
Just saying.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw out mine.
Get your
'Cause
ass back in here, Dylan.
Yeah,
I finished my
yeah.
Todd Gurley pick.
I got another one that this was one of those feel good stories,
Okay.
and this guy was electric.
Okay.
This guy played everywhere on this field,
Mm-hmm.
but you know he was an offensive guy.
Okay. Who you got?
The Mr. Tavon Austin.
Oh my God. Me and Dylan were literally talking earlier. Dylan, can you get back here?
Dylan,
Dylan!
Oh,
Get
are you talking to me?
Dude, we're still doing it. Like, come on. He just said Tavon Austin, and I was just saying, me and Dylan were talking earlier about how he had the finest college mixtape ever.
yeah, that dude Tavon was literally the best.
Make people want to play football.
No,
facts.
seriously. I mean, his story was perfect.
Him and
Dude
Geno
was
Smith.
undersized, but had the speed to outrun anyone.
Sure did.
I mean-
what was his numbers too? Gotta get to that.
This man played from 2009 to 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for his first 3 years, he was listed as a running back. Like I said, he did have the size of that.
Speed, yeah.
You know, he was kind of small, but this dude. I mean, all right, I'm gonna go through each year because it gets better each year.
Mm-hmm.
As a freshman, this dude had 151 yards and 1 touchdown. That's fair. As a sophomore, 787 yards
Got jump coming.
with 8 touchdowns. Y'all thought that was it?
The sophomore, that's good numbers.
Now those are receiving.
Mm.
This guy's a running back listed. So let me read you those running back numbers. First year, 47 yards
Mhm.
and 1 touchdown.
Mhm.
And then his sophomore year, 161 and 1 touchdown. I mean,
Jeez.
whoo.
Before we had Kadarius Toney's and in terms of receivers that can do back stuff.
Exactly.
It was Tavon Austin.
But you know, then once he moved to wide receiver,
Full
this is
time.
where he really
Oh.
shined. All right. Not only was he on punt returns and all that, which where he was really fun to watch. That was where he was fun.
Bro, it made people miss and shit.
Exactly. I mean, this dude was impossible to attack on the open field.
No.
But when he was a junior, this dude had 1,000 yards, 186 yards.
Jeez.
That's insane. As a wide receiver at this point,
His
well,
yards per catch must have been crazy too.
yes. I mean, bro, it was each year he's been in college, it was double digits. Double digits, bro. At least 11 yards.
I still remember that when they played LSU, he made LSU's DBs look slow. That's LSU. He was different.
Because, I mean, bro, this dude was too fast for people.
He was
I mean,
too quick.
and I remember teams would try to kick the ball away from him.
You couldn't kick it to him, or that shit going to the house every time.
Literally every
Past
time.
50-yard line.
And you would hope someone could catch him.
Good luck. In that open field, good luck.
Yeah, him
College
in open
athletes
field.
that were gonna open up dealerships ain't catching up to Tavon Austin. No. No Sirski. He was on a short list of most explosive. Him and remember, was it D'Anthony Thomas for Oregon?
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Anthony Thomas.
Bro, yes, bro. Those are two of the most explosive college football players I've seen, bro.
Yeah, you're not telling no lies.
Oof.
Because, I mean, they use their speed to their advantage.
Man, just blew by people. Made fast guys. Made 4-4 guys look slow. Like, these aren't scrubs. No one could keep up with them.
Yeah, so, I ain't gonna lie. That was my guy on my list.
That's
Because,
a
like I
good
said,
pick. That's a
not
good
only was that this dude was really nice, but he had that feel-good story,
pick.
bro.
He did.
I mean, just beautiful. Just beautiful.
Underdog story.
No, for real.
Went on to be a first rounder. NFL career wasn't quite as injuries kind of ruined that a lot. But in
And
college,
they also didn't utilize
they didn't
him.
utilize. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
they didn't.
I
Utilize him.
understand they used his speed on sweeps and
Mhm.
stuff, but bro, like if he was playing now
Yeah.
with the
He
amount
was
of
ahead of
crossers,
his time. That
yeah,
was
because
the
I mean
thing.
crossers, deep shots,
Yeah.
deep post. I mean that's all in today's game,
He was absolutely ahead of his time. He was.
and that sucks.
Imagine if he played it today, bro. The shit that Hollywood Brown, Waddle are doing, Tamon Austin could do the exact same shit.
Yep,
Say Flowers,
yep.
like, come on.
Dude was nice.
He
Dude was really
different,
nice.
Different.
But I'm gonna go ahead and pass it on. Y'all got another one?
Yeah,
What you got?
this is my last one.
Okay.
Oh goodness.
What you about to say?
This man played with this team for 4 years. He was a wide receiver.
You gonna say it?
Yeah.
Who is it?
Calvin Johnson.
They ran,
Megatron.
they ran a triple option offense with Calvin Johnson.
One of the greatest wide receivers of all time.
Oh my
I
god.
don't remember him ever beating Georgia though. That's what's crazy. You know,
I could look it up.
you can. I would say list the stats, but he played at Tech, so we don't need to look at his stats. They weren't high.
That's crazy. That's what we're doing, Corey?
That is what we doing. Yeah.
You're gonna disrespect one of the greatest wide receivers of all time.
Not him. The school he played at. You know, the other team in Georgia.
Really? That's what we're doing?
Is what,
You-
what were his
you got-
numbers? You know,
I
people
got
want to
you.
know what his numbers were. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I vividly remember, he made some very nice catches in college,
Yeah, when they threw him the ball.
So in 2006, he played 14 games, 76 receptions, 1,200 yards, averaged 15 yards, 15 touchdowns. He had 7 rushing attempts for 30 yards. And for scrimmage, he had 1,200 yards on the scrimmage.
Some pretty good numbers.
It's some pretty good numbers. It is. Yeah.
Some good numbers. You know.
Sounds like
Some good
a
numbers.
little stress, Just a little bit.
It's solid numbers. It's Calvin Johnson. I mean, come on. It's Calvin.
It's Calvin.
It's Calvin Johnson. Yeah.
Megatron.
Yeah. We were
One of the
Optimus Prime.
greatest wide receivers of all time.
Easily, yeah, top 5.
And he was fast.
6'5", about 230. He was kind of like DK Metcalf, but he was more agile than DK. He
Yeah.
ran better routes than DK.
I mean,
Actually came down with the ball.
Yeah, DK, he was a body catcher. Calvin.
Calvin would
Pure
go up and
hands.
he would go up and grab it mid. You remember that one play when against the Bengals
Mm-hmm.
where he had like 7 of them around him? He
Yeah.
jumped up, caught it, came right down with it.
Who threw him
Yeah.
the football? Georgia Bulldog, Matthew Stafford.
Who?
Georgia Bulldog,
Who?
Matthew Stafford. Just saying.
I know Detroit Lions, Matthew Stafford.
Where'd he play at in college?
I don't know.
Georgia.
I don't know that school.
Damn, how fitting. A Georgia Bulldog throwing dimes to a Georgia Tech receiver. Who would have thought? Just saying. I'm just making a point.
That's
I'm
crazy.
just making a point. I'm just saying. That's cool to think about,
That's
I'm
crazy.
just making a point. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, you're just saying.
But yeah, let's call spade a spade. Calvin Johnson was crazy. Even at Georgia Tech, he was insane.
I remember that one play. The one common play I remember was where he was running, the quarterback threw it behind him, and he just
Literally caught it sideways in mid-air.
He was a cheat code.
That's something you create in a, like Madden.
Literally,
my career.
In Madden, when you create a receiver, you make him 6'5" to 35 and give him 99
you make it like a
speed.
Megatron build.
Exactly. If you literally, you would make him like Calvin Johnson. That's how you would make him.
Yeah, he was literally the best
that,
prototype you could ever have.
Showed it as early as Tech. That's why he went number 2 overall. Monster.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that was nasty.
That
He
was
was a nasty man.
He was.
Dude was filthy.
Different. Since y'all did receivers, I'm gonna follow that trend. You're not gonna like this pick, though.
And I already know exactly who you're gonna say. It's gonna disgust me.
He played
and
at,
it's gonna be purple.
He played at LSU.
Let's
just say Joe Burrow and him are teammates right now. Jamar Chase. It was tempting to go with Odell, but Odell didn't.
I thought he was going to go with Odell too.
Odell was electric at LSU, but like he didn't have the great quarterback play at LSU. Odell did to really maximize out. He still put up solid numbers.
Yeah, but I remember that.
But
I remember
Jamar
that one.
Chase. Yeah.
I remember that one. Odell clip where he's standing at the back of the end zone for a kickoff return.
Oh yeah. That was nasty.
I've never seen another player do that.
I mean, let's be honest. Odell's catches are just hard to.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude.
Crazy.
I don't know what he does. I don't know how he stretches his fingers out, but
even
I think he's just got long hands.
He does. I
No,
was about to
seriously.
say,
Kawhi
I
Leonard
think
type
he
hands.
has.
Seriously.
He has huge hands, bro.
Yeah, go ahead and
Jamar-
read these disgusting stats of this disgusting team.
Jamar Chase, I think he won the Nick McClough his true sophomore year. That was the historic 2019 team, arguably the best offense of all time. He was him and Jefferson were amazing, but he was the best receiver on that team. Let me show you these numbers on him. The man had 84 catches, 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns. Guess his yards per catch. 21 yards per catch. That's crazy. He was flat out dominant. And at LSU, we're used to dynamic receivers like I mentioned earlier. Odell, Jarvis Landry. But did you ever notice? You noticed as a Bama fan when you and LSU would have those classic battles. Those receivers never had an elite quarterback really throwing them the football. I mean, they had Zach Mettenberger. They had Jordan Jefferson. I mean, come on. Well, now you gave not only LSU an elite quarterback in Joe Burrow, but remember that was the year Joe Brady came and they had that passing scheme. Jamar Chase was, that I've watched, the most dominant, at least top 3 dominant receiver, because there were a lot of dominant receivers. I mean, there was Crabtree at Texas Tech. Dan already mentioned Calvin Johnson. There was my guy, A.J. Green at Georgia.
Demaryius Thomas, too.
Demaryius Thomas, yeah.
Rest in peace,
We can
man.
go into a whole laundry list with Bama. Julio Jones, Devontae Smith,
Calvin
Ruggs.
Ridley.
Calvin Ridley was nasty. Jerry Jeudy.
Can we say Henry Ruggs?
Oh, Amari Cooper. Ooh. Yeah, too soon. Amari Cooper.
Ooh, man.
So that we've seen, but Jamar Chase as a true sophomore was clear-cut the best receiver in the country. The things he did wasn't. Let me tell you. You know when we talk in basketball how someone has a crazy bag. Jamar Chase's wide receiver bag was insane. He had the yak. He had long speed. He could outmuscle you. How many times did he moss Stevies? Remember AJ Terrell, Dillon's boy? Now at the Falcons, he's a top 10 quarterback. He was a dog at Clemson. He embarrassed AJ Terrell in that national championship game. Remember, he gave AJ Terrell 200 yards at halftime. He was mossing him the whole game. NFL corner, elite NFL corner. That whole year, he faced Trayvon Diggs and Patrick Surtain for Bama. He played C.J. Henderson turned out to be a bust. But at Florida, was C.J. Henderson not a dog? He was a dog at Florida. He went in the top 10 for a reason. My Bulldogs, he played Eric Stokes and Tyson Campbell. Dog walked on. He played my alumni Auburn Tigers. We had a pretty good secondary that year. Noah Iguodala, he turned out to be a bust too, but he was good in college. Roger McCreary, another elite corner in college. He faced a lot of good players in that back ends all year. And just like Devontae Smith did his Heisman year, Jamar Chase routinely embarrassed these guys. But the difference is Devontae Smith did that as a sophomore. I mean, not as a sophomore, as a senior. Jamar Chase did that as a 19 to 20-year-old true sophomore. Now, he ended up playing a third year in college because, COVID happened. And, that year people kept opting out and shit. But his sophomore year, that was one of the most dominant wide receiver years in college football history. And he wasn't just exciting as he was a possession receiver and he made a lot of sideline 15-yard move to change catches. He was a threat to score every time he touched the football. So he gave you kind of exciting Tavon Austin explosive catches while also mossing people. It's rare you get a receiver that can score that many different ways. And Jamar Chase was one of those guys. Come on, as a Bama fan, you got to admit he was a problem.
As a Bama fan, he pissed me off.
I mean,
that whole LSU team pissed me the
that
hell
LSU
off.
team was loaded. I mean, they beat the shit out of my Bulldogs that year, so it's not easy for me to say Jamar Chase.
I'm gonna be honest with you. What LSU did to Bama is
that was
what
an
Bama
exciting
did
game,
for.
though.
Let me get this off my chest. Let me get this off my chest.
Continue.
What LSU did to my Bama boys that particular year is what Bama has done to teams in so many years.
Yep.
They just stockpile so many weapons where if they say, all right, you want to try to slow this guy down, well,
that
good luck,
team was
we got
unstoppable.
everyone else.
I mean, they had Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, 2 top 3 receivers in the NFL right now. On the same team, catching passes from Joe Burrow, a top 5 quarterback.
Literally 2 opposite sides of the field, which literally would piss me off.
That was unfair. And they put Jefferson in the slot.
Yep.
They had safeties and third best corners trying to guard him, and they would isolate Jamar at the X. I mean, Trayvon Diggs is a top 5, top 10 corner now, and he got destroyed by Jamar Chase. That LSU, that was probably the one offense that I've seen ever embarrass that many good football players on defense in one season. They embarrassed a lot of good football players. A lot. There wasn't scrubs in my Georgia secondary. We gave up 40 to them. Bama had plenty of talent in your back end. They nearly dropped 50 in Bama. That team was crazy, bro. Clemson had a good defense. They gave up 600 yards of total offense. That team was ridiculous. A lot of people give it to Joe, and I do too. He was one of the best college football quarterbacks ever. But when you're throwing,
it was really their scheme. They changed it to the West Coast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. LSU never ran a scheme like that.
Yeah, as soon as they changed it that same year, they exploded. Because I remember they said they changed it to the West Coast.
More pass. Yeah, because who was the coach they had before that just his scheme was archaic as fuck?
I don't remember, but Joe Burrow became from,
Les Miles. Remember Les Miles? His archaic scheme, just run up the gut, throw fades. There was nothing creative. And remember, people always used to say, man, imagine if LSU had a West Coast pass scheme. They actually implemented that shit.
And was unstoppable.
Unstoppable.
So, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Dominant. 2 of LSU.
Yeah. I was trying not to go too LSU heavy, but they had a lot of good football players that I grew up watching. A lot. Not just good, exciting, dynamic.
Are you sure you're not from Louisiana?
I'm just saying. If we're talking about some of the best wide receivers that we grew up watching, you got to mention some LSU Tigers. And that includes Jamar Chase.
Okay.
Just saying.
I was letting Corey talk because he finally gave AJ Terrell his.
No, fact.
AJ Terrell's
that was like
I've
the
said
only
AJ
time
Terrell's
you ever gave him his
that was
props.
the only time you've ever given his props.
I've said he's an elite corner. He just plays for the other side as a Saints fan. So I can only give him so much praise. But now that we have a podcast, you got to put your bias aside. And,
I will never put my bias aside.
Yeah, I know you won't.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and throw out my last pick.
Okay.
This is someone that I feel like, obviously in college he was electric, but didn't get his praise until he was out of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people will understand exactly where I'm going. Where when I say this dude as a Heisman, you know, finally having to get it
Mm-hmm.
at a spot that most positions are saying that is not valued.
Mm-hmm.
My man Reggie Bush, that man was so much fun to watch. I mean,
Reggie Bush was electric at USC, man.
you know, I ain't gonna lie to you, you know, that was kind of like the first kind of players that really I was watching. I was just like, bro, I don't know how you stop this guy,
They still
bro.
need to give that man back his Heisman.
That's what I'm
His
saying. Like,
his bullshit. They took his Heisman off some stupid NCAA rules, bro.
and I mean, like, let's be honest, bro, because I can remember coming home from school, playing some NCAA. For anyone that picked certain players,
Mm-hmm.
he was one of those people that if you picked, you would look at them before you start the game and say, you're not allowed to use him too much.
That USC team in general, when Reggie Bush was there, was just stacked. That was back when Pete Carroll was there, Matt Leinart was there.
Yeah, I mean, is it? Oh, yeah, you know, that's all I can say, bruh. Because, you know, it was definitely tough.
I mean, where do you want to start with? First of all, pull up his numbers before we get into his game, bro.
I mean, let's be honest, the dude in 3 years, this is 3 years, had 3,000 yards, 169 yards. That's insane.
Over 1,000 yards this season.
Well, let me put you in better view of what he did as rushing. His
Mhm.
first year, 500. His
Mhm.
second year, 908.
Mm-hmm.
His last year, 1,700 yards.
And we ain't even gotten to his receiving yards. He was arguably
Exactly.
one of the best receiving backs in college football history.
Exactly. This dude, as a receiving back
Mhm.
for all 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
1,301 yards. Oh my!
You gotta remember, this was back in like early 2000s. This was before they really went pass heavy to backs.
Exactly.
Before Christian McCaffrey was getting 1,000 yards as a receiver in college.
And then I didn't even say his touchdowns, Corey.
Oh my God.
This man's rushing touchdowns. You ready for this one?
Mm-hmm.
25 in those 3 years. And then in passing, 13.
That's nearly 40 touchdowns.
I mean, in college, this dude was a cheat
He
code.
was different, bro. He was
You
unstoppable.
couldn't stop someone that was that fast and shifty.
as fuck, bro. He was. I've never seen a running back. Well, we have now with Saquon when he was at Penn State, but before those backs came in, how many people did he make miss in the open field? He would make people look silly in the open field.
Yeah, it was tough, bro. It was really tough.
Those poor Pac-12 defenses had to try to stop Reggie Bush. Come on, man. Not a chance.
And again, this dude went on to be in history by being one of the very few running backs to win that Heisman.
Yep.
And we emphasize few.
Mm-hmm. It's very rare because it's a quarterback-heavy award.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially to a position now that is devalued as much as they
Big
are.
time.
You know, I mean, this dude, what he did, the number speaks for itself. This dude was electric, special, and if you watched
Ridiculous.
him, it's hard not to forget some of the games that he had.
Just crazy.
Crazy, literally crazy. You know, and like I said, I was just a little kid, bro.
Mhm.
But when I would come home, watch me some good old football on the weekend, or come home play me some NCAA.
The team you always pick was USC.
Let's be real now.
Reggie Bush. A
Exactly.
cheat code, bro.
That dude was unfair to stop.
It got to the point where it's like you're not allowed to play with USC.
Exactly.
Like, come on, man.
You know, so I'm just saying. He was fun. He was fun to watch.
Cheat code. Cheat code.
But that's all I gotta say. That was my list.
That was a good ending. I like the Bush pick.
Exactly. Because like I said, he had that nice story too, bro.
He did.
Very few running backs get their love, and he got his love.
Yeah, he was a top 3, top 5 pick. I think he was that dominant.
Like I said, bro, the tape and the numbers show all for itself.
They don't lie. What's crazy is the numbers probably don't do him justice. You watch 1 minute of Reggie Bush highlights, you're like, oh my god. Like, this dude was a man amongst boys.
He really was. Just like we were saying earlier, how shifty he was. Good luck
because he
trying
wasn't
to
like
him.
a power back.
No.
But man, you got him in the open space. Lights
Good
out.
luck.
Lights out, bro.
Well, all right. I gotta ask you, y'all got any more or any honorable mentions?
I do have one more pick.
All right.
I'm gonna go to the defensive side. This may be a little biased, but this is my favorite college linebacker that I've seen. Dylan's not gonna like this pick. Roquan Smith at Georgia. Before I get into Roquan Smith, the player, I know you might like this because you like linebacker play, Hunter. Let me read you his college stats, bro.
Of course, this man's gonna say I like linebacker.
You do like linebacker. I didn't say linebacker stats, but I said you like linebacker play. This man had, as a sophomore, 95 tackles, 5 for loss. Pretty good numbers. 0 sacks, though. But his junior year, this is when he blew up, became that top 10 pick. He had 137 total tackles. 14 tackles for loss. And 6.5 sacks. When we talk about explosive, those fun little rangy sideline-to-sideline linebackers we talk about now? Roquan Smith started that wave. At least in the 2000s. That dude was a heat-seeking missile. He would run sideline to sideline. And remember the Water Boy? When Adam Sandler in that movie would just hit the crap out of people? That was Roquan Smith on that football field. He would, because when you watch defense, what are you excited about? Big hits, right?
Yeah.
Roquan Smith would smack the shit out of people. He was one of the most physical linebackers that I've seen. And what's crazy about that, he's not a prototypical big linebacker, right? He's like 6'1", probably about 210. So he's undersized, but he played like he was 250 pounds. He was a sideline-to-sideline menace. I remember that Natty championship game against Bama, we lost. But was he not the best player on the field, arguably? He was a monster that game. He could cover out the backfield. He can stop your run. And just the energy he played with.
Unbiased. He was nice. I felt like he didn't get his respect until he went to the NFL.
Exactly, the NFL. Yeah, Georgia fans knew how special he was, but the NFL, that's when the world caught up.
Because like I said, personally, he was not on my radar too much. I knew he was.
He was the best player on the field in that year. There was a lot of good football players in that year. Was he not at least top 3?
Anyways,
it's true, Hunter. Stop dancing around my question.
I think there is better guys.
That's why I said, was he not at least top 3 though, on the field?
He was a top player.
Okay, continue.
But he's like I said, he didn't get his love in college as he, I guess some would expect. Especially watching him in the NFL, because like I said, that's where I really.
Because what he's doing in
watch.
the NFL, he did the exact same shit at Georgia. The sideline stuff, the energy, smacking people. What he did all 3 years in Georgia.
Which is a fair point.
Right.
So I can respect it.
Because you know why people love watching SEC defense? Because the Pac-12, Big 12, their defenses are kind of a meme. They're soft. They don't really play much defense.
They're mostly offense.
Exactly. SEC is violent.
The SEC
People
is probably
smack.
the most balanced, I would say, conference.
Now it's a little more offensive heavy. They still play some defense. But back in like 2010 to like 18, when it was defensive driven, linebackers like Roquan Smith and
Foster,
Reuben Foster, and you had a couple other studs.
Hightower.
Dante Hightower.
Hightower was a fucking menace.
Beast. I'll say that. He was a straight beast.
Yeah.
Linebackers like them.
Ooh,
There were a
what's
lot of
his
good
name?
linebackers. I'm blanking on
the guy that's playing at the Jets
Mac
now.
Wilson, another one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my Bama boy that's playing that at the New York
Dylan
Jets.
Moses.
Yeah, Moses.
Mhm.
That dude was a menace.
He was. Oh, I know you're talking about C.J. Mosley.
Yeah.
Yeah, linebackers like that are why people love SEC defenses.
As much as I hate to say it, Patrick Queen.
Patrick Queen flew around that field.
Yeah.
Harold Perkins now, young Perk.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's definitely fair. He
Mhm.
definitely set a new wave of how the
Exactly.
game is going to be set. So,
Because have you noticed after him, there's more small, undersized, sign on the sideline menaces at linebacker. Now everyone wants that.
you can't trust too much on it because you got people like Devin White.
Oh, yeah. Another
You know.
LSU linebacker.
uh,
LSU had some dogs at linebacker too.
but they missed on that one in the NFL for him, at least scheme wise. Because I think he's still a
he
good
was
player.
pretty good his first couple years with the Bucs.
Yeah, I think he's still a good
Yeah,
player.
the
It's
year
just
they
not-
won the Super Bowl, he was arguably the best linebacker in football. He was crazy that year.
Yeah, but after that Super Bowl, it's like he got his money and kind of
Kind
went
of
to hush
chilled.
mode.
But at LSU, dog.
Yeah, it's nothing I can really argue about that.
Yeah.
But I think we had a nice list from all of us.
Unless Dylan, you got an honorable mention.
No, I do not.
Bet.
Respect. All right,
Yeah.
I think
Kinda
we had
dove
a
in.
Oh,
dove
you
in
know
on
what?
some nice things.
Oh,
I
so-
do have an honorable mention.
What's your honorable mention?
Andrew Luck.
At Stanford?
Yep.
That's a throwback.
He'd lower
Okay.
his shoulder down and hit anyone and then help you right up.
He would, man. Andrew Luck, he would say, nice hit as he's getting drilled.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, Andrew Luck was
Just imagine being a crazy defensive
Yeah.
lineman
Yeah.
and you sack the quarterback, and next thing you know is great hit,
Right.
guy.
I remember Luck was like the first, we've seen electric quarterbacks in college and stuff, but remember they would go into the NFL draft and they would hit quarterbacks with like a generational hype where they would say he's the best quarterback since Peyton Manning and John. Luck was that.
Yeah.
Everyone coming out, people were saying he was a better quarterback prospect than Peyton Manning. Like in terms of college, he was our version of John Elway.
He actually really, because he
Yeah.
was very,
He
very,
was.
very nice.
I mean, he was seen as a generational talent. He was.
Too bad where he got drafted.
They did not invest in the O-line until his body broke down.
Until he said it was over.
Right. But
He forgot to tell him his 2-week notice.
Oh my God! I wish he turned it in sooner. I really do. I mean, they traded away Peyton Manning for Andrew Luck. That's how much hype he was getting. They were willing to get rid of him easily. But yeah, Luck was crazy.
Yeah. So that was a good pick. That was a good pick.
That was a good honorable mention.
I can respect
Remember, he
that.
was at Stanford with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Which you got some nice coaches now. So, but hey, it's we doing good now. But hey, I'm gonna go ahead, head us on out because
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold these people up too long.
That's right, yeah, because we really dove in.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's kind of hard to
Right.
sum it down to some few people.
Because
on
we
this
could have said
list.
even more. That's so many legends
Exactly.
are in college football.
I mean, you could say a lot more running backs.
Exactly.
Just to give them some love.
There's plenty
You
of
could-
running backs we could have said.
We could have said more linebackers.
Yeah, I mean,
We
yeah,
could even say tackles.
yeah, you could have said guys like McCaffrey.
Yeah, who is
Guys.
literally electric.
Yep.
I mean-
Saquon at Penn State was ridiculous.
He literally set the way for Miles.
I know this one hurt Leonard Fournette at LSU, even though
Well, no, we dominated.
I'm about
him.
to say y'all did dominate.
It felt nice.
But that was Les Miles in that archaic offense. It worked against lesser teams, but Bama just stayed. Yeah. I mean, if we're talking Bama, Derrick Henry,
Yep.
like there was
Mark Ingram,
Ingram.
who is literally set the
I
way
think he
for
won a
him.
Heisman. Yeah, he was crazy at Bama. So we could have said. I mean, remember who was that really good? Ndamukong Suh. If we
Yeah.
were really getting into defensive players, could have said him.
Yeah.
Jabril Peppers at Michigan played offense and defense, linebacker and back.
Yeah, our what's his name? Oh my gosh, Clowney.
Jadavian, that hit he made
That
to
dude was
that Michigan running.
Yep.
Yeah.
that literally solidified him in the
That
draft.
put him
right
on the
there.
map. That one play got him drafted first overall pick.
Yeah,
I'm
let's be
convinced.
honest.
That one play got him first overall pick.
You know, so we could say a lot
Everyone's
of
seen
people.
that play. Exactly. So
It was nice.
it was nice
You
going
know,
down memory lane. And
But you know, as my man Stephen A would say, let's
this just gets my hype ready for NCAA. We finally get that. back.
exactly. You know, they need to go ahead and put this trailer
That's
out.
what I'm saying.
So
the new wave of players today, like Harold Perkins, Caleb, will finally get to play with them again in video games.
exactly.
Can't wait.
But you know, I'm gonna go ahead and let these boys let them know what time it is.
yeah.
You know,
And also, this is technically our first YouTube episode.
exactly.
Even though this will also drop on Spotify too, as part of our audio. But in terms
exactly.
of our YouTube, this is the start.
You know, so I'm gonna go ahead and let these boys know they gotta go ahead and follow. They gotta like and
And what's the last one? What's the last one now?
comment.
There we go.
And hit that
Because
bell.
again, we want to interact with y'all. We want to know y'all's opinion. Who's y'all's list in terms of your favorite electric?
Exactly.
players you
You
grew
got to
up
tell us
watching.
who's electric. Who do y'all just remember going on, waiting for those Saturday
Exactly.
games and seeing the most electric games you've ever seen? So you got to make
Exactly.
sure you comment down below. And you also got to make sure you hit that bell so you know when we post again.
Hey, Hunter, what days do we post? Just so they know.
You know, I'm gonna let you know and tell you,
Mm-hmm.
but I would be foolish to say it. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and tell these kind people on what day, because I mean, like I said, we work on these hard
We do.
all week just so
We
we can
do.
put this out for these people.
We sure do.
So go ahead and tell them, bro.
You know what? Y'all should expect content. We want y'all to be able to get to your weekend with some fresh content. So
Exactly.
we're gonna have new videos for you on Thursdays and Fridays.
Exactly.
Those are the days. Get your notifications. Occasionally, we might even hit you with a Saturday or Sunday nugget.
You know, we're gonna spice it up
We will
every
spice
time
it.
there, but you got to make sure you get those 2 days down pat for sure.
Exactly. Those are the
You know,
main
we
two.
were dabbling before to kind of see what
Exactly.
works.
Getting our feet wet a little bit.
Exactly. So we're gonna make sure now we got these videos out on time.
Facts. So y'all keep a lookout. And like Hunter said, keep those notifications on.
Exactly. You gotta be able to hit that bell.
Mhm.
But you're not gonna be able to do that if you don't go and follow.
What he said.
You know, so that you already know the
I
name.
know.
Flicks and
Kicks.
Kicks.
Follow us on IG. Subscribe on YouTube. And subscribe to our Spotify. We're everywhere now.
Hey, we global.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You know, we
you know what I'm
global.
saying?
We
touch,
global.
We touching every social media part now.
You know, so just so for everyone,
Mhm.
you got to make sure you go ahead and tune in. You know what? I didn't say it enough.
We said
It's
we're boring them now.
Exactly.
They know where to go. They know where to find us, and they know when to expect days for us.
Exactly. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and close us out.
Y'all have a good night. Stay tuned.